Welcome to the Strategy Mob Podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
I think there's a lot of salespeople out there that are dealing with customers that have very, very similar stories to what you're going through right now. And I think as an industry, I don't think we're necessarily preparing our salespeople to handle these types of situations. And so I'm curious, for someone who actually went through it yourself, I mean, you clearly don't feel like you got handled well, going through this. What advice would you give, a salesperson out there or a manager out there that's listening to this and going, man, I got a customer right now with pretty much the exact same story, and I'm just not 100% sure how to handle it. What kind of advice would you give that person?
First of all, you have to train your salesperson. It's beyond work track. It's you have to train your salesperson to understand the situation of what's going on, and they have to know how finance works. Because most salespeople, they're like, "Oh man, that dude, that dude's a credit bandit. He can't buy anything." And they're genuinely nice to you, but they really don't explain anything besides they can't get anything done. And to me, a lot of that comes along the lines of having, a TO from a finance person. There's a lot of people who would rather hear from the person that's dealing directly with the banks, which these days it depends on dealer to dealer, because sometimes it's a sales manager's keying up the whole deal in the tower and communicating with the bank, and he's just sending, he's sending the packet back to the producer, the director, or whatever. But as a salesperson, you have to have empathy for what's going on and understand. And are you getting the deal structured correctly? Because I've seen some magical things happen inside of a car dealership through traditional lending with credit scores that, would just blow your mind like blow.
No, I hear you.
And if it makes sense and the deal is structured right, and that's one thing salespeople have to know. Are we structuring the deal right? And with the constant turn of salespeople, you might have that one good salesperson that's like that. But, I can go into another subject here and branch off really far, but that's usually where that one person that really gets it, really good at explaining this, he becomes a sales manager in the next 2 months. And then 4 months later, he's running a dealership. Well, and there we go. But that's the end of that story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy Mob Podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to sign up to be a mobster at strategymob.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.